I'm definitely no expert on these video tutorials. In fact, I'm crap at them. But I keep getting asked what settings do I use for my camera for getting my photos of birds in flight. So for this video, I just wanted to run you through how my camera's set up, what I use, and share with you my settings, so I don't have to keep telling other people, oh yeah, I've got this set for this and I've got this set for that. I've been promising to do this video for absolutely ages, but I just haven't got round to it. A couple of reasons is, one, I don't really know how to record the back of your camera, so you can get like I could show you the full screen of my camera. So what I've done is I've recorded from the camera I'm shooting on now, and I've just recorded the back of the camera as close as I can get it. I haven't gone through every setting because every setting doesn't matter. I've just showed you roughly how I've got my camera set up and quickly zoomed through the settings. There are a lot of other videos out there explaining what each one of these settings do, and also other people's opinions on which settings you should have. Now, I don't think one particular set of settings is right or one is wrong. It's just how you want your camera to work, and also what works for you. I have done a video before on my run and gun settings, how I kind of keep my camera set up with the preset options, you know, 1, 2 and 3, how I click on each one of those for whatever I'm shooting. But I've just gone a bit more into detail, showing you some of the other settings inside the camera, the way I've got my camera set up. As I said, there's no right or wrong. This is just how my camera's set up, and it seems to do me okay. So I'll just run you quickly through the camera settings, how I've got it set up. Okay, as I said, I haven't really got this set up the best, but I don't know how to record that on a big screen. So I'm using a camera to a camera. So the first thing I want to show you is what I've got on my dials and my buttons set up to. So my number 1 button, which is this one here, the AEL, which is the toggle which controls the settings for the light to lock it on. I've got that set to this button here. Number 2 is the autofocus, so I can click that when I want to start my tracking or focus on my subject, and then press my shutter button. I use back button focusing. Number 3 here is my autofocus and manual focus selector toggle, so I can press that and swap between autofocus and manual focus. Number 4, which is this button here, I switch to silent mode, which is again to toggle between electronic shutter and mechanical shutter. And my 5th button, which is the bin, I use for my touch operation. So just going down onto the next lot of settings. Number 1 is focus standard. 2 is my zoom operation. 3 is my drive mode, but I've also got that set to something else, so I don't actually use that setting. 4 is the exposure compensation. So by turning this wheel, I can change my exposure compensation. And I haven't got nothing set for number 5. So going on to the top, the red record button, I use that to toggle between my focus areas. And the button next to it, the C2, I use that to toggle between full frame and crop frame. So the button on my lens, I've got that set to focus hold. So my main dial at the front, I've got the one set at the front for shutter speed, the other one here I've got set for aperture, and this one is set for ISO. So that's what all the main dials are set for. The dials, the numbers on the top here, I've got 1, 2 and 3. I've got 1 set up for birds in flight. So it's a high shutter speed. Focus area is set to center tracking. Number 2 is set for static objects. So the shutter speed's less. It's got a wider focus area set as, standard. And my number 3 is set for landscape photography. So the shutter speed's right down, adjustable center, adjustable focus point. So a completely different set of settings. So just going through the main menu. In my menu, all I've got in there is format, to format the memory card quick. So going on to image quality, I shoot in RAW, aspect ratio 3:2. So that's video settings. The APS-C mode is set to auto in case I put a different lens on it. Color space sRGB, and lens compensation set to auto off. So onto the exposure, I keep my ISO in auto as a run and gun kind of setting, with the range limit between 50 and 16,000. Exposure compensation, again, as I said, I use this dial here. Metering, I keep in multi. The spot metering point is center, and the AEL with shutter set to auto. Flash, I don't use a flash. White balance, I set that to auto 99% of the time. Sometimes I'll go in and have a little bit of a mess with it. Color tone, the D range optimizer off. The creative look and picture profile. Creative look standard, picture profile off, but that doesn't really matter because I'm shooting in RAW anyway. The zebra displays, I've got those set to the function menu here, but if I'm honest, I don't really use them that much. But I've got the zebra level set to 70. Going down to the AF, MF, autofocus, manual focus. I've got the focus, these are just how it's set up at the moment. So in focus mode, at the moment I'm shooting in continuous autofocus. The priority set in autofocus S, I've got AF, and priority set in AFC, I've got to AF. The AF tracking sensitivity is 1, locked on. The AF illuminator set to auto, AF with shutter set to off, and pre-AF off. As I said, I use back button focusing, so that's my kind of lock on, and that's the kind of shoot. Focus area, at the moment I've got it set to tracking. With the focus areas, I've took some of them off because, as I said, I'll use one of these buttons at the top to toggle between my focus points, and some of these I don't use. So if I want to toggle between my focus points quicker, I've set it just to go through the ones that I use. Switch VHAF area off. Focus area color, I've set that to red. AF registration off. AF area auto clear off. AF display during tracking off. AFC area display on. Phase detect area off. The other two don't really matter. The face and eye at autofocus, I've just got that set to eye for bird, animal or human. I don't bother with changing the eyes because I don't really do kind of portrait kind of work, and I don't really find the need to switch between left and right eye. It seems to pick on the eye closest, which is the eye I want to use anyway most of the time, so I don't have that set or mess around with that too much. Just see if there's anything else that really matters. And that's about it with regards to the back. All the rest are obviously different settings for your Wi-Fi, your Bluetooth and things like that. Is there anything else? I've gone you through how I've set all those up. I'm not going to run you through how to set them up because there's 1,000 videos out there showing you. And the only other thing I've got left probably to show you is my function button. So I've got this set up in the moment in mode 1 at the top, which is for my birds in flight. So I've got high plus as the drive mode. The focus mode is AFC, continuous autofocus. The focus area is set to tracking, obviously set to birds. The zebra display, I don't use that much. I mainly use the histogram, so that's set to off. The metering mode is multi. Aspect ratio 3:2. The face eye autofocus, I've got that set to on. And auto white balance. And that's it really. That's all I really use in that kind of mode. Just going back to my setting for 1, I do shoot in RAW and I shoot in the compressed RAW, which gives me a higher frame rate. So obviously the files aren't as good, but it's a higher frame rate, and obviously I don't want to miss the shots. Now if I flick over to 2, where I've got static birds, I don't use compressed, I use uncompressed, which gives me more information in the file. Files are a little bit bigger, but I don't get such a high frame rate. Number 3, I've got set to my landscape photography. I haven't really used that in a while. I've got it all set up, but I haven't done any landscape photography in a couple of months now. Well, basically that's it. That's the back of my camera. Just going on to the lens. The lens I keep in autofocus, and I use it in full. Obviously, if the animal or subject is closer, then I'll swap that down to, the 10 meter one or 10 meter to 2.4 meters. The steady shot I always keep on. I have tried changing it on and off because I've heard that, once you get over a certain shutter speed, that doesn't really do much and it kind of slows down your autofocus. But I can't see that, and I've tried it on quite a few different subjects and a few different times, and I honestly cannot see any difference between having that on or off. So as a rule, I generally keep it on. My mode button, 1, 2 and 3, I keep in 3 99% of the time. I've had a mix around with the 1, 2 and 3, and I don't really seem to see much difference, although 3 does seem to have a slightly better keep rate for what I do. So that's it. Just going over what I've got on my camera. The original foot that come was like obviously the white one, but for some reason, and I don't know why, Sony do not put any grooves in it so you can fix it to a tripod. So you've got to put a plate on the foot to put it on a tripod. Now I don't like that, so I've changed the foot on that. You can see all these little red toggles I've got hanging all over the camera. These are for my Peak Design strap. I have put these on the bottom of here, which I kind of use now for my strap when I'm carrying it. I attach it to that part, or sometimes I'll put it to the lens. I don't put it to the camera because I don't want all that weight of the lens hanging off the camera. And then I've obviously got them on the camera for when this lens isn't on, and I've got something like a smaller lens on for landscape or closer portrait work. So that's it. As I said, I don't think there's any right or wrong way to set up a camera. It's just how you want to set it up, really. And as long as it does what you want it to do, I don't see the problem in it. So they're my settings. I hope it was a bit of help. As I said, I'm no good at doing these YouTube tutorials. In fact, I'm no good at doing YouTube videos, but I keep getting asked the question, so I thought I'd do a little video just to show you what settings I use, and you know, it might be some help to someone. So thanks for watching. Hello. I get asked quite a lot, what settings do I use for when I'm... Hello. 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 God, that's finally done. I've been meaning to do that for bloody months.